Well, first tonight, the Israeli Defense Forces showed 100 journalists in Tel Aviv what they say is unedited footage of the Hamas terror attacks to counter a spate of denials. One of those in attendance was Jotam Confino, a Spanish journalist working in Israel. Well, Jotam, thank you very much indeed for joining me. Tell me about what happened today. 100 journalists, including you, were taken to see unedited raw footage of these terror attacks October the 7th. What did you see?
First of all, good evening, Piers. And I just wanted to say, first of all, that I'm Danish. And I also want to, of course, explain what it is that it's all right. I want to say what it is that we saw today. I think the best way to describe it really is ISIS on steroids. The atrocities that we already know happened and that we've already seen evidence of by listening to eyewitnesses, seeing the scenes, were now shown to us on a screening. 45 minutes of raw material, GoPro cameras from Hamas terrorists, surveillance photo from kibbutzim, from small villages, all of it really showing exactly what happened. I'm not sure how graphic I can be, Piers, because I would like to explain what I saw, but I don't want to scare
I think you should just tell me what you saw. I honestly, we're called uncensored for a reason. I don't think this should be censored.
Absolutely, and I absolutely agree. So first of all, I saw a Hamas terrorist throwing a hand grenade into a bomb shelter where a father with his two sons, he was hiding there. Then the father was killed instantly. The two children ran out, disillusioned, blood all over, running back to their home, screaming for their dad. The youngest boy, who was roughly 7, couldn't see anything. He said, "I can't see." And in the meanwhile, the terrorist who threw the grenade went casually into the home, opened the fridge, took out a bottle of water and drank it and offered the kids some water, as if nothing had happened. That was just one scene. We also saw, of course, the beheadings. We saw an Israeli soldier lying on the ground, beheaded, and terrorists around him screaming Allah Akbar and cheering. We saw Hamas terrorists on the streets systematically assassinating people in their cars, executing them very close, in close range. We saw pictures of a burned child, burned beyond recognition. All you could see was it as a very small person. We saw a picture of a dead baby with blood on it. We saw, I don't even know, I had to leave after 35 minutes because eventually I had seen enough. I knew that this had happened, but because of the severe backlash, especially on social media, by people who refuse to believe that this has taken place despite the overwhelming evidence, I felt like I had to go there to see it so I can tell people that I, with my own eyes, saw it. So if they don't believe the eyewitness that I spoke to, then they can believe me, because I'm a journalist and I hope they still believe in what it is that I'm saying.
I mean, I've seen other reports from other journalists there, utterly horrific. Also, that many journalists were reduced to tears watching it. It was so repellent to watch and so horrific. It is extraordinary, isn't it, Jotam, that we're now in a place in this conflict, fueled, I think, by disinformation on social media, where people are either ignorantly blind to what has happened or deliberately blind to what's happened.
It's such a good question, and I think that it's absolutely outrageous that journalists are now turned into forensics. They have to watch the most horrific scenes that you can possibly imagine, in addition to speaking to eyewitnesses, in addition to being on the scene, seeing houses burned, shattered, with RPG rockets thrown into them, blood on the floor. That is apparently not enough. You have to go now and see it. I'm simply appalled that we've gotten to the point that one of the most covered wars of the 21st century, along with the Ukraine war, that we've gotten to a point that we as journalists have to sit there and watch 45 minutes of onslaught. It's simply indescribable. But again, people refuse to believe it, and I think we're going to make a small difference. I'm not sure that we're going to convince everybody about what happened here.
No, I mean, I saw your tweets about this. They were appalling, but incredibly detailed. And immediately I saw the reaction from people who were already sceptical, and they hadn't changed their mind at all. They just thought it was all propaganda, which is incredibly dispiriting. Jotam Confino, thank you very much indeed for joining me. I appreciate it.